Welcome back. Now, plummeting metal prices have rocked Impala Platinum. That's as the Platinum Group metals producer reported an 88% slump in a profit for the interim period, which resulted in a 78% drop in headline earnings per share. And joining me now to help contextualize these numbers is Implats CEO Nico Muller. Thank you so much for your time, Nico. I'm going to start with, the safety metrics at Impala and the impact on the business. Of course, we had the 11-shaft conveyance tragedy that happened in November last year that unfortunately led to 13 fatalities. How has this impacted the way Implats conducts its operations?
Well, just to start off with, safety is an integral part of our operation. I've yet to see an operation that can achieve success long-term without producing its products safely. So from that point of view, nothing has changed, but we have to re-evaluate our business culture, our safety culture, our leadership, the design of controls. We have to go over a wide front, and we've used this opportunity to do exactly that. We are in the process of conducting a full investigation to not only determine the direct causes but also the underlying causes, and we take that quite wide. So I think what we would like to do is identify exactly all of the contributing factors and prescribe remedial actions in order for us as an industry globally to use this as a way of making 100% sure that we can prevent it forever going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually see that your full year production guidance was maintained. How was this achieved, even with, the disruptions? And is it maybe also reflective of the value of Impala Bafokeng?
So I'm so glad that you asked that. So we have had an absolutely transformational improvement in production at Impala Rustenburg, where this event took place, which is now hidden as a consequence of the 11-shaft incident. Because as you may or may not know, at the time of the incident, we stopped all of our man conveyance winders and did an examination. So we lost 6 days of production across the entire Rustenburg glacier, but we felt that it was justified given the tragic scale of the event. So hidden in the production numbers, in spite of us, so if you look year on year, Rustenburg achieved a 9% increase in production volumes, and that is notwithstanding this incident at happened. So in the absence of that, the production would have even been far better. So that is how we have achieved a 2% increase in production across a group period on period, notwithstanding the incident that happened at 11 shaft.
All right. Well, let's move on to pricing. What is your gauge on the current PGM price cycle, where the pressure points are coming from, and if there is no relief in sight, at least in the short term?
Yeah, so if you look at the price behavior of PGM metals, it's not always directly correlated to the market fundamentals. It's widely reported that we've had deficits in 2023, in particular for platinum, but the industry is characterized by large volume of surface stocks. So if you look at the price behavior, it's often determined by a number of marginal buyers, and it is often guided by sentiment, which is informed by the global economy. So as a consequence of a number of supply shocks, COVID, semiconductors, and so forth, and then the Ukraine war, you have seen a shortage of supply, therefore an increase in inflation rates, therefore the Reserve and central banks responded with increasing interest rates, therefore a downward pressure on the global economic growth rate. And so now you have got in 64 countries elections during 2024. There is lower risk on supply side given lower Eskom disruptions. So at the moment, you have got a negative sentiment as a consequence of the macro environment in which we operate. Therefore, we have seen a destocking and access to surface stock. So we are not entirely surprised by the lackluster performance of the PGM prices going forward. we are not expecting a rapid improvement. However, in the medium to longer term, we believe that the market fundamentals remain supportive to our products, and we think that there will be an improvement in the medium term.
Yeah, and actually just as we're on pricing, I mean, as much as there will be more up and down cycles in PGM pricing, are there any structural changes that Implats is embarking on to mitigate against the downward cycles going forward?
So already looking at how we entered this particular down cycle, it's fundamentally different from the previous cycle. We entered this cycle with significant net cash. We've got no debt. So we have used the upcycle particularly well to create a very strong balance sheet position. If you look at the increase in unit cost, you'll see that we've undercut mining inflation by a significant margin. So our ability to respond by cost optimization has been strengthened. We've got a more diversified portfolio. So from a structural point of view, I think that we are well positioned historically. We had a highly leveraged Rustenburg operation that was operating at the top end of the cost curve, but they in fact had a 6% reduction in unit operating cost year on year. And so I think that we are better positioned, notwithstanding we have implemented strategic changes. We have reduced our capital forecast for the next 5 years by 21%. That's at about 10 billion. And we are currently going through an evaluation process at corporate office as well as at all of our operations to evaluate what restructuring is required to brace ourselves for potentially extended winter period.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and giving us insights and painting a picture of those numbers that we saw coming out of Implats, Nico. That was Impala Platinum CEO Nico Muller.